Hey guys, Kev here, and I have two really cool knives to show you. Now, this is the same knife, but two different versions, obviously. But this is the mini Griffin from Ketuo, and I gotta tell you guys, they absolutely killed it. This is exactly what I wanted it to be when I got the full-size Griffin, and the first thing I said was, man, I wish this was a mini. So I waited, and they came out with the Griffin V2, which had the liner lock actuated with a button. And now they've done it, and they've made the mini, and it is the perfect Griffin, in my opinion. So we're going to talk about it. Here's the packaging. You can see here, KT Mini Griffin. This is the -P and the -B. So I'm guessing plain black, but not positive. One's reverse tux, and one is just kind of a standard finish. M390, the designer's David Jin, and David freaking killed this design. Love it. And of course, it's titanium and carbon fiber. You have like a marbled carbon furbin here. You have a filler tab, which is awesome. If you're left-handed like me, you get a reversible clip, and you essentially get a reversible knife an ambidextrous knife, because this, while it's a liner lock, does not have an exposed liner lock. So you don't actually use the lock bar. You use a button. And as a lefty, it's in a good spot where I'm not hindering the action at all, even though the button comes straight out of the handle. You can see it's very much like a Vosteed with the top liner lock, except for these are front-facing liner locks. It's sort of a standard liner lock, and then has a button attached to it via a bridge or something, or maybe it's just a long lock bar piece back here, and it mounts to that. Where the Vosteed version is a compression style lock, based on, I believe, originally the Smock lock from Spyderco. There is another knife with similar setup I want to show you. This is the Remet Peregrine Falcon, and I suppose it would be a competitor. But the reason I want to show it to you, this is a button style lock that also has a liner lock. So very similar, right? Now, this is also a pivot lock, where this is just a button lock. So depending on what you prefer, I would say, in my honest opinion, I prefer the button in this situation. I'm not the biggest fan of these pivot locks, because they all kind of involve some kind of spring on the pivot. And it just, I don't know. The button locks don't do that. They don't have a weird, because they have to mount this pivot cap somehow. And that involves using a spring in there, so you have something to push. Right? Even though it's not a plunge lock, it kind of has a similar feel to it. The only exception to that rule is the Vosteed Vanker lock, or V-Anchor lock. They did the pivot lock thing too, but they don't have that mushy, springy feel. Like the Remet, the Riot, the Truffles, they have this sort of spring under pivot cap thing going on, where Remet did it with a button connected to a magnet on a lock bar in there, and you push that, and yeah, it has some tension to it. It's like a spring, but it's not a compression spring that you can like rattle around. So I don't mind that one. I also inset the button a little bit, but I got to tell you, my favorite is currently the Mini Griffin, and I love it. They killed it. That's really the best thing I can say. It's dead centered. This one's dead center. They sent me two versions, which was awesome. Thank you to Ketuo. I will pass one of these guys around. You can see it says Griffin right there. It is definitely smaller. Now, I will say that I am a little bit in between on this. I had some buddies over, knife buddies over this weekend. They helped me QC some knives for my for a Divo thing. And, you know, we all kind of passed them around and talked about them. And there was a couple of people who mentioned they didn't like the blade to handle ratio. They said it looks like the blade is way too short for the handle. And as you guys know, if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, I hate terrible blade to handle ratio. But this is not bad blade to handle ratio. If you look at it, when closed, that tip comes all the way down to the end here and fills up the handle. They didn't waste space there, so the blade to handle ratio is actually good. I will say it does look a little worse on camera if you look at their like pictures or whatever. I was a little concerned about that. Now, the real, I guess, issue that those people were talking about is the blade edge to handle ratio, because the edge is only this long, right? The reason I don't like poor blade to handle ratio is because visually it's a problem with my brain. My brain is like, no, that doesn't add up, you know? And then you close the knife and you're like, wait, why is the tip here, ending here? There's still half an inch there. That's what it bothers me. This is a different kind of thing. They put a choil in here. That's what this is. It's a finger choil, because the full-size one has one. So that can give some people the effect that it looks a little off. Personally, once I got them in hand, because again, I kind of had that concern looking at them in their posts and stuff. But once I got them in hand, I was like, oh no, this is perfect. There's nothing wrong with this. So some people may not like this choil, but you know what? Those are probably not choil people. So probably wasn't going to be for them anyway. But it is comfortable if you choke up here. It's not like I could bear down on it and go to town, because there is some, you know, there's some angles going on here. You have a flipper tab here. Now, I really do think they could have brought this blade back all the way, not done the choil. And then they could have brought this flipper tab in a little bit and made it more of one of those low profile style ones. Like what you'd see on a Vero, or another example would be Tempest knives. They have the low profile flipper tab. It's kind of in the handle, right? It doesn't stick out past where the handle ends. It's a different experience. You have to kind of pull back and down. You can't really push button them, right? But if they had done that, you would have more of a flat here. They probably could have made it where this flipper tab came up and made this a straight line, which they did anyway. So you can grip it like this. It's just a little thinner than it would be if it was shorter. It'd be like here, where you'd be able to use the whole frame, you know. But even as is, this feels pretty good to me. You know, it doesn't feel much different than, say, a Brian Brown Jaeger M with a flipper. Something like that. So they really probably could have brought this blade back all the way and just had this be the choil, essentially. I call it a flat choil, whatever you want to call it, right? But they went with this route, and probably because it matches the full-size design. And I got to tell you, it does not bother me. It does not bother me in the least. So I would say, I would say that it's perfectly fine in my opinion, but you guys let me know what you think. Now, when you look at it from this side, you kind of go, oh damn, they have like a proprietary pivot thing going on. Nah, that's just a I think that's really just for show. They have a flathead right here, so you can just take that one out. You could probably even put the flathead in there as well, and it would work. It's a thin knife. It feels different in that sense than the full size. I don't know if they thinned it down a little bit, or if the full size was more contoured. This is a very flat knife. Usually that bothers me, but there's so much cool stuff going on here. Milling, angles, chamfers, all of that stuff, that I'm fine with it. They have this cool lanyard posty thing back here. Lanyard spot, I should say. Really cool little milling line right there. You have a filler tab, like I said earlier, so you can actually reverse this. Now, those look like T6s. Nope, T8. So you have T8 on the filler tab, T8 on the clip, and then you have flathead on the body screw, which is a Chicago screw. It almost looks like a button to me, but it's a Chicago screw. And then you have the pivot, which is also a flathead. So pretty easy if you were going to take it apart. The detents are perfect. They're both fantastic. I've been playing with these a little bit, and man, they're so close to being identical. I think the black one might be just ever so slightly stronger. Perhaps the coating added that. It is a PVD coating. But you have this flipper tab. You can grab onto that, whip it down. Works like a charm. Detent feels money on that. You have the front flipper up here. You can front flip around. Again, detent feels great. Everything feels good. I will say the jimping could probably be a little bit more aggressive here. I feel like it's fine on the flipper, but again, could be more aggressive. I'd like to see it more aggressive here, and then I'd like to see it come up and around as well. But as is, it does work well. I will say you can get a little bit of a better grip on the coated blade. Because of the coating, it adds a little bit of a matted effect, I guess. And then the reverse flick is just so good. The hole is in the perfect spot. It just lines up so well for me. I mean, you can see that. Push the button. Makes a great sound. You can see that liner lock in action. The button pushes it out of the way. Zoom. Falls down. So you can have fun with this thing, flipping it every which way you want. I didn't even try the thumb flick yet. There it is. Works great. No problems with the thumb flick. Can I flip this one? Yep, no problem. This one feels maybe a hair smoother. Probably because it's not coated, and this is. So the detent is wearing a path through the track. Sorry, the detent track is wearing a path through the coating, where this one is, you know, satin or uncoated. So it's going to break in quicker, basically. But once that breaks in, it'll be the same, I bet. They both feel great. They're both, you know, push that button, and they both dangle. Right? But when you lock them up, no play in any direction. Solid as a rock on that one. Nothing. No up and down. That's one thing I would say I prefer with this liner lock setup versus the compression lock style setup that Vosti does or other people have done. Because I've noticed that compression style lock does tend to not have lock rock. I don't think it's actually lock rock. I think that you can get so much leverage on it maybe that you're kind of rocking the whole liner, like you're moving the liner or something. I don't know what it is, but it's not like rock. It's because you don't feel it when you do this, but when you really wrench on it and you kind of push and drag and pull, you're not really going back and forth. You're just like, sorry, it's really hard to explain. You can get a little bit of movement there. And I don't know what that is about the compression style lock. It might just be the location of the lockup or whatever, right? But it does feel more solid on the liner lock. Now, I do believe in practice, the compression style lock is actually stronger, but in our use cases, we're talking about EDC knives. We're talking about, you know, this is a 3 inch blade, whatever. You know, this is plenty strong for this knife. So that wouldn't be a concern for me. I'm just rambling about the locks. But works left-handed really well. If you reverse that clip, you'd be even better. You'd have a spot to grab onto when you front flip and everything. But I can do all of the moves with this. No problem, even with the clip on the other side. It feels good. Again, that button doesn't get in the way at all, which is interesting because usually that's what happens on button locks for me, but maybe because it's not a plunge lock. I don't know. But even with my finger like hanging over where the button is, it's not impeding lockup or anything. Acoustics are phenomenal. Let you guys listen. Oh, man. These are phenomenal, guys. That's pretty much all I have to tell you about the Ketuo Griffin Mini or Mini Griffin or Mini Griffin V2. I'm not sure. I'm just going to go with what it says on the box right there. KT, as in Ketuo, Mini Griffin, and you have the P and the B. Both of them are phenomenal. I honestly would not be able to choose between these two. I am going to put a link down below. And if you use that link, it does help the channel. So if you're going to pick up one of these, I would appreciate it if you use the link. Of course, you do not have to do that. But I'm definitely highly recommending this. And I bet you the price is reasonable. There's the V2. So the V2 is $250. That's the full size in case you like this, but you want something a little bigger. This is what the full size looks like, just so you get an idea. The full size has a, come on, baby, 3.55 blade length, 3.12 cutting edge. Let's see if I can find the Mini. I haven't seen that one, I don't think. The Thorn. The MT10, I haven't seen that one either. There's some new stuff on here. The Ketuo Knife Rhapsody, that's a new one too. Sick. All right, where's the Mini Griffin, dude? Look at that Mini Knife Beetle. That's a cool one. So it's the necklace version. Is there a, okay, no, here it is. $195, guys. $50 less? What the hell? What the hell you would say? M390, 59 to 61. It is, oh, come on, no. There it is, 2.91 blade length. They don't give you the cutting edge. I'll tell it to you now if you must know. I know some of you might care. So 2.91 on the blade. And the cutting edge is 2.5, 2.6. 2.65 on the cutting edge. That's not bad, actually. Because they kind of like, I don't know, the way they did the choil, it kind of, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it feels good, man. Nice little poon in there. I love the shape of the hole. And guys, you know I'm a reverse flicking slut, and it's such a good reverse flick. And then you add some extras into it, like the great front flip and flipper and everything. And you got a winner here, guys. Great size knife. I have an average size hand, large glove size hand. So here it is, if that helps you at all. Closed. Here it is. Okay. In my other hand. I'll do a couple size comparisons and I'll get you guys out of here. Good one might be the Spyderco Native 5. This is the fluted carbon or whatever S90V version. There is a comparison to the Native 5, and I was right. It is dead on. So it is Native 5 size. So if you're a Native 5 person, let's see. The Fireball from us over at Divo is a little bit bigger, but not much. I mean, it's close, man. That's a good comparison, too. Pyrite in S90V and FRN. Pyrite Light, I guess I should say. Trying to find stuff you guys might have. I'm not going to buy a PM2 and a bug out just to do size comparisons. So it's the best I can do, but there you go. That's a good one too. A little bit bigger on the pyrite light, but this one's cool too, by the way. All right, there you go, guys. That's it. The mini Griffin from Ketuo. I think this is my favorite Ketuo so far. I think this is going to be my favorite knife of 2025 so far. I know it just started, but that's how much I like it. It just feels so good, man. Flipping that thing and then choking up on it. And yeah, it is an absolute winner, guys. So, and it's 200 bucks. You know, 200 bills. I think that's totally fair, guys. I mean, that's crazy, honestly. I appreciate that price quite a bit. Thank you, Ketuo. So check it out. Link down below. Oh, one other thing I want to mention is the button. It is an interesting button. You can see the shape of it. It has a little indent on it. I'll zoom in on it. We can take a look. So it has this little indent on it, and then it's oval shaped. And then you can see that button goes through here, through the blade, and then there's obviously the lock bar is extended back. Could probably show you. Guess I could take one apart, but it's, you know, we all know what these look like now. So you can see the lock bar extends back, and then it has a post mounted to it. And that's what the button is attached to. And the button is most likely titanium. It is, it looks like, and that can match the body, which both of these are bead blasted. Oops, sorry. Both of these are bead blasted frames, and then you just have a reverse tux, which is PVD, all black, blade and accents and everything, hardware. And then this one is blasted, or it's like their I forget what they call it, frost type finish. And they have that on everything. So either one is a winner, honestly. I think maybe I lean a little bit towards the reverse tux, but ever so slightly. So you can't go wrong. All right, that's it. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Shout out to Ketuo. Appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you later.